Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. It is exactly 8:36 a.m. and I think we are crossing over to Cape Town. Our next guest is Brahm Hanekom. He is a concerned citizen, but the interview really is around his own personal views and feelings, and this is the stance he has taken on this matter. But just in case you recognize the name and wonder who Brahm is, he in fact is with Africa for Palestine, and I think is involved in a few uh, other organizations as well. So he is ready to join us, and I like what he is saying. He says, President Ramaphosa, please don't resign. We still need you. Ram Hanakom, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Lovely to have you on the show. I'm so pleased that you've decided, to go ahead with this. And obviously, I also want you to tell me that this petition has already garnered hundreds and thousands of signatures. How did how did this come about? What was your thinking when you heard and read about what's going around regarding the Pala Pala scandal, regarding the inquest? I don't know if you caught part of my previous interview with Debo Haas regarding, Advocate Selo that was on the panel, which a lot of people, including myself, believe that, we believe she might have been biased. We can't outrightly prove it, but I personally believe there was bias involved there. But be that as it may, we need common sense to prevail. So, talk us through your thinking and why you came up with this petition.
Well, I hold the view, and I think many South Africans hold the view that nobody's perfect. Um, President Ramaphosa probably and may well have a case to answer for, and should answer for whatever the questions are. He is an accountable leader and should account to the public. But we we've allowed Arthur Fraser and a collective of people who are known criminals, are known to be thugs, are known to be responsible for many of the problems we're faced with ESCOM and SAA and so on. Uh, we're faced with a situation where the most tarnished people we could possibly think of are the ones that have concocted and compiled and somehow put together this complaint and charge against Cyril Ramaphosa. Now we can't ignore the fact that when when an allegation comes from somewhere, where it's coming from is not irrelevant to the issue that's being confronted. So we really are concerned that the intention and the motives of those who are attacking him are to enable corruption to thrive and to enable state capture to continue. We it can't be that we as South Africans give up on Cyril Ramaphosa at this very difficult time. And I think we have a very rare leader, because another president we had actually had to be forced to resign and only really did his resignation when Parliament was about to vote and the ANC was about to remove him. And Jacob Zuma only removed himself then and resigned. We've got a different kind of president who voluntarily offered and was about to, and truly we believe was going to resign. We had to beg him as South Africans and people to say, look, we know there are issues here, account for the issues, let the processes proceed, but you still have our confidence and faith, and we still need you. We saw how the Rand and the economy was beginning to shake. We know that, unfortunately, for better or for worse, at the current juncture in South Africa, we desperately need him to continue and to continue to strengthen institutions so that the president of the country isn't able to unbundle the NPA and the SIU and other structures that have become much stronger and are now getting money back that had been stolen, arresting and charging people for corruption that's costing our country. We need President Ramaphosa to continue that process. We're not saying he's perfect. We're not saying he shouldn't answer questions. And I think that's why over, I think, nearly 15,000 people signed the petition quite quickly,
Wow.
because really, we know he's having a very difficult time, but we believe that he doesn't need the job, and we believe that he was about to resign, and we think he was going to resign not because he's a crook, but he was about to resign for quite the opposite reason, that he felt like his image, and the public themselves no longer wanted to tumamina him, no longer wanted to entrust him with the responsibility of head of state. And as a good person, we believe he was going to resign. A criminal or crook would cling on to power so that they could try bully or abuse processes and investigations into the president. A bully or a crook would want to stay there to continue stealing, to continue giving families and friends jobs and tenders and so on. Our president currently is not one of those leaders. And the fact that he was going to resign, and we're very certain or confident that that is what it was looking like, made it really a panic for us to quickly rush to put something together so we could say to the President, we still believe in you. We know that the issues, we're not particularly happy about the Pala Pala saga, but we can't ignore that it's definitely a plot. It's been hatched by Arthur Fraser and them. Whether he walked into a trap, we don't know. We would like to find out, but we're more concerned about our people, our children, our economy, and about protecting the country from the irreputable state capturers that are lining up and planning endlessly with their funded hashtags and their campaigns and their endless string of lawyers to destroy the president for reasons which we are very clear are sinister.
Ram, what happens now with the petition? Are you still going out to get as many more signatures as you can? And then what do you do with that petition? Because it seems now at this stage, thankfully, it seems as if President Ramaphosa is not going to step aside. He is not going to resign. I hope and pray that I am correct in my thinking. But anyway, what happens with the petition?
We, we're going to give him the petition. Uh, we're going to make sure it gets to him, just so that he knows that this is what the people think. I'm in the ANC. There are many people who are in the ANC. Some of us, we call ourselves comrades. But many people are not in the ANC. Many people don't even like the ANC. Many people didn't even vote for him, but signed the petition because when people realized, hang on a minute, people had been saying step down, but they didn't necessarily want him to step down. They were just expressing their frustration as concerned citizens around allegations and so on. We want him to see that there's an overwhelming view in the public that we do want an accountable president. We do want a president that's held responsible for any wrongdoing, but we don't want a president who thinks we don't trust him and we don't want him to be president, because we believe that that's what led him to want to step down. He felt like he had a cloud hanging over his head and that he was the wrong person to lead renewal. But unfortunately, we believe that there isn't a good alternative. We believe he is the best person to lead the renewal of the ANC and the country. And so the next step is to make sure that we somehow ensure that he does see and he's aware of the petition. We don't know if he's read it or aware of it. We believe he might have heard about it, and we'll just try and make sure that, to respect the thousands of people who signed the petition, that he does get it and he's aware of it, and that will be our job done. But the very existence of a petition, the very existence of a reaction by South Africans to indicate or to try communicate to the president a majority view that we still need the president, we think was really helpful in the public sentiment and his own analysis of the situation, because he donates half his salary to charity every month.
Wow.
He's very wealthy. He seems to be a president who every morning goes for a walk and doesn't enjoy having to have lot of body protectors around him, but he needs them because there are many people who would love to get rid of him. So he's not a president who's enjoying uh, um, his job necessarily, and it's not a nice job. It's a job that he's not doing for money. He's not earning money from it. His intention, we believe, is to finish the process that started when people were fighting for freedom in South Africa, and I think he wants to leave a government that has checks and balances, that doesn't allow criminals to get away with corruption, and we think that's why a particular group of people are spending millions and endlessly trying to remove him. And but the biggest problem for us was that we think that the president himself believed, and we think maybe among the public many also believed they didn't want him to be president. But when he was about to resign, I think many people began to panic and realize that, you know what, with or without issues, we need President Ramaphosa to continue the good work he's doing. We want him to account, and he must account. But we have questions. We have questions about the panel. We have questions about the quality of the report. I did hear earlier the question that you asked the previous interviewee about the panelist Selo, Advocate Selo's response to the Daily Maverick. For us, and for me, the issue is quite straightforward. If the panel had come out with a report that we believed was well written, that we believed made sense, if the report didn't have glaring loopholes and didn't seem to be suspicious, we wouldn't have raised our frustration now. And by the way, a week before the panel started its work, I tweeted myself concern around her being in the panel,
Whoa.
and did try to communicate it, but it was a bit late, because if we remember, when the panel was set up, Richard Callum, the whole focus was on Richard, and then
Yes.
Richard agreed to step aside, and then Selo came in. And at that point, we were blindsided, I think. We didn't really question the new person because we were all thinking about how Richard Callum stood aside and did the decent thing because he didn't want to be seen as perceived to
Absolutely.
be biased.
Mm.
Then this new panelist who uh, we believe is very close to a group of people wanting to get rid of the president. She comes in, and we raise our concerns. I did on Twitter blatantly, aggressively, raising the concern, and as a public member of the public, as a citizen, and now the report comes out, and we don't believe confidently that this report is truly independent. And if it's not truly independent, how could we as South Africans stand and watch a good man fall on his sword because he believes that that's what we want him to do? He believes that South Africans um, don't believe in him and believe he's a crook, and he's not. He's the opposite of Jacob Zuma. With Jacob
Absolutely.
Zuma, he needed to be forced to resign. With President Ramaphosa, we needed to beg him to remain, and we believe he's heeded our cause. But in principle, we'll still get that petition to him somehow, and to respect those who signed it, so that President Ramaphosa is aware. In fact, there's a picket outside Parliament on Tuesday, and I'm trying to get someone from the public to present that petition. I don't want to do it myself because I'm just the person who wrote 3 or 4 paragraphs. But I think there are much better people who signed the petition to present it. Ideally, a child or a granny or someone who's got a story to tell, and would explain why they signed the petition. So I'm hoping that we could hand it over, not necessarily to him, but to Parliament or to people he's represented by. And then we will have fulfilled our mandate of those who signed the petition, which was to get the petition to him to say, this is what we think.
From Honeycomb, you are a good man. God bless. Stay safe till the next time. All the very best. And just keep that flag flying as high as you possibly can. Nice talking with you.
Thank you so
And
much.
go
Thanks for
well.
having me. Okay, bye bye.
Bye. That was Brian Hanekom. He is with Africa for Palestine. He's also indicated he is with the ANC, talking to us about the petition that he has started. President Ramaphosa, don't resign. We still need you. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. We still need you. Don't resign. There are way too many corrupt politicians in South Africa. And if you resign, the country, it's on its knees. It will be totally finished. It is exactly 8:51 a.m. Please stand by. We are now going to talk about another issue, which, oh goodness gracious me, is getting citizens up in arms, very especially here in Gauteng, Fortsburg being one of the areas that is unbelievably littered with filth. So, what's the story here? What's the issue around illegal dumping and pollution? Do stand by. We're going to talk with Alex Christians in a minute or two.